Tavon Austin is widely seen as one of the most electrifying players in college football history. And in today's video, I am recreating him in college football 25 and trying to recapture the magic that he had at West Virginia. And I will attempt to complete these 4 challenges, win Tavon Austin a Heisman Trophy, break the single season receiving yard record, win a conference championship in the Big 12, and win a national championship. The first game of the season for West Virginia was against number 7 Penn State, and the very first catch from Tavon Austin's on this out route where he's going to juke out this defender, break a tackle, and take it all the way to the crib, outrunning the safety and getting in for 6. And while Tavon did show he's still one of the most explosive players in the country, his chemistry with starting quarterback Garrett Green is not up to par. He's going to throw one behind him here. It's going to be picked off, and Penn State's going to take over. And now down in the 4th quarter, needing a big play, Tavon's going to run a comeback route, but again, Garrett Green just does not get enough air under this pass. It's picked off, and that's just going to about do it here in West Virginia for the home opener. The Mountaineers would fall in Tavon's first start 41-24, and he spent that next week in practice continuing to build some familiarity with Garrett Green because that combination was going to be the key to the West Virginia season. But in week number 2 was another home game against FCS East, and Tavon on the opening drive just knew these guys could not cover him. They were not good enough athletes to stick with him in space. And a couple plays later on this out route, Austin would catch his 2nd touchdown of the season. But with how up and down the Mountaineers offense was a week ago, they wanted to set a tone early in this one as Austin catches another deep one down the field. And for the 2nd straight drive, this time on a slant route through traffic, Austin's going to hold on and get his 2nd touchdown of the game. And now in the second half, up 42-0, Tavon's just going to run right past this cornerback and really just put this game on ice 49-0 late in the 3rd, and that would be the last snap he took for the rest of the day. The next week's game was on primetime on the road against Pittsburgh, and this being the first road game of the season, West Virginia really wanted to get off to a fast start, and here's Tavon Austin deep down the field, but could not hold on to that one. And frustrated that he cannot reel in that touchdown catch, his number was called once again on the exact same route. This time he would hold on though and get in the end zone to make it a 7-7 game. And now in the 4th quarter, tied 14-14, Austin said, hey, let me take over. He caught that tough slant in the middle of the field, and then here on 3rd and 5 with 3.5 minutes to go, he's going to burn the cornerback once again, hold on again, and get in for his 2nd long touchdown of the night. And the Mountaineers would hold on and win 28-14. But this next week's game was going to be another very challenging one against number 12 and 3-0 Kansas. And although they are widely seen as a basketball school, their football program has really improved over the past couple of years. And on the opening drive for the Mountaineers, it was a pick. But it's a 14-17 game as we approach halftime, and Garrett Green right here is just going to miss Tavon on the sideline. But he said, don't worry about it, just feed me the rock once again, as here's going to do a nice little out route, burn the 2 cornerbacks, and take it all the way down the left sideline into the end zone to tie it up before half. But Green just did not have it today, as he would throw another interception that would lead to another Kansas touchdown. And that would pretty much be the ball game. West Virginia would fall to their 2nd ranked opponent on the year. But with how loaded the Big 12 is, they would have another opportunity the following week to get their 1st ranked win of the season against Oklahoma State. And look at this opening drive touchdown at Tavon Austin on a slant route. I mean, that's just unguardable. And the very next drive, Austin would get behind the defense once again, do a little toe tap in the back of the end zone and make it 14-0. And although Oklahoma State would not give up, they simply could not guard Tavon Austin. Another out route here is going to take a huge gain all the way inside the red zone. And now in the 4th quarter, simply put, they could not keep pace with the West Virginia Mountaineers, and that would be the ball game. But if West Virginia was going to make the college football playoffs and have a chance at a national championship, they had to once again beat another ranked team, and it was going to have to happen in inclement weather. So coach called a nice little screen pass here to negate the rain. And look at Tavon Austin pick up some blocks, and we're all the way down the left sideline. You can kiss him goodbye. Nobody's going to catch him in the open field. Now in the 4th quarter, this game was never really close, and look at Tavon catching another slant pass and hurtling into the end zone to get another score. Another dominant 45-17 victory, and Austin was finally getting some recognition for the Heisman Trophy. But being the only non-quarterback in the Heisman race would mean that Tavon would have to continue to just keep cooking. And early in the game, that was exactly what was happening. But here in the 2nd quarter, in the middle of the field, Tavon's going to get pass interfered with. There's no call, and the ball is intercepted. And the very next drive, Tavon's trying to run an out route, but Green throws it inside, and it's picked off once again, and Kansas State brings it all the way back inside the 5. But now down by 8 late in the 3rd quarter, some urgency started to arrive. So Tavon said, give me this slant route, let me take it to the crib. He saw that safety rotate down, and he's gone. Kiss him goodbye once again. And that explosive play would do just enough to get West Virginia back in the ball game and actually be able to clinch it 45-38 at home. And now after the team's 3rd straight win, they were officially ranked number 20th in the country. But the Big 12 has no gimmies, as next week was on the road against Arizona. And the first drive was pretty slow and methodical, and look at Tavon pick up a huge block here to get the running back in the end zone. And the Wildcats did a fairly good job, at least early in this game, bottling up Austin. He didn't really have a ton of opportunities down the field, but he was going to break a couple of tackles and pick up a big gain. And here was one of the first times all afternoon Austin faced some inside leverage, so he bounced it outside and caught a beautiful catch down the left sideline. That catch would get the Mountaineers in business, and here's going to run a little decoy route, get his wide receiver an open touchdown, and the Mountaineers would walk this game off on the road. But the Bearcats would be next on the road, and with how tight last week's game got, West Virginia wanted to come off to a fast start, and the best way to do that offensively is to throw it up to Tavon Austin on a fly route whenever he's facing some press coverage, and here he's going to burn the angle of the safety and get in to make it 14-7. But outside of that one long catch, Austin really spent the rest of the day just picking up key third downs for the offense. And now up by 10 with only a minute to go on 3rd and 10, the tight end would catch it right up the seam and ice this game 31-14. But now back home against Baylor, they're going to put their cornerback one-on-one on an island against Tavon Austin, and that is a big reason why they're probably 5-4 and about to be 500. They would learn their lesson, at least for now, as they're going to play a deep zone here and actually pick off this slant route. I have no idea what Garrett Green was doing there, but Tavon would get his get back, burning right past this cornerback and secure catching it down at the 1. Now with 1:46 to go, one first down ends it, and West Virginia went to their go-to target to ice the game, and the Mountaineers would take care of business once again. And with 2 games left in the regular season, Tavon Austin had 1,600 yards, 84 catches, and 15 touchdowns. And the last 2 games of the regular season was going to be against UCF and at number 7 Texas Tech. Austin still finds himself in the thick of the Heisman race, number 2 behind Cameron Ward. And this week against the Knights, although they were 5-5, it was not going to be a super easy game. And after that big hit and some trash talk from the UCF cornerback, Tavon said, watch this. He took this slant route, once again, one of his favorite routes, all the way to the crib, and he said, you know what? Hold this for me. But the West Virginia defense was struggling to hold on, so it was up to Tavon Austin and this Mountaineers offense to continue to put up explosive play after explosive play. Now it is 21-17, and those 2 big plays fired up the defense, and they finally were able to hold UCF to no points in the second half, clinching a 38-21 victory. But the last game of the regular season against the Red Raiders in a hostile environment was not going to be easy, especially since they're number 3 in the country, and their secondary was definitely going to be pretty hard to get behind because they had great speed and also great lengthiness to them. But Austin did quickly realize that if he did use his supreme route running, he could find himself wide open. But the Red Raiders offense was keeping them in this game, and after this interception by Garrett Green, Austin had to put on his DK Metcalf impression to chase him down so he could not return this for 6. But now in the 4th quarter, down by a touchdown, Austin said, enough of this, let me just burn the secondary once again and take this all the way to the crib and tie the game up with 2 minutes left to go. And the Mountaineers would hold on to defeat Texas Tech in the last regular season game of the year. And with only the conference championship to go left in the season, Austin was only 109 yards away from setting the new receiving yards record. But the stage was set in the Big 12 championship. It was once again going to be West Virginia against the Red Raiders for the 2nd week in a row. And the game plan this week was a little bit different. Tavon was going to be used as a first down machine. Any key third down, he was getting the ball, and he made the most of his opportunities early in the first. But here we saw a wide gap between the 2 cornerbacks right up the seam, and Tavon Austin is once again breaking loose in the Big 12 championship, and he is gone. And despite playing him for 2 straight weeks, they have still not learned that you cannot press single coverage him, and on 3rd and 18, he's taking this one to the house once again, 21-0. Those 2 long touchdowns were all that West Virginia needed to control this game from start to finish, and the Red Raiders really never had a chance. The final score was 28-10, and Tavon Austin was officially a Big 12 champion. He also won Player of the Year. He also won the Heisman Trophy, and he also was first team All-American. The Mountaineers were officially in the playoffs, and the quarter round matchup was going to be against the Ohio State Buckeyes. And although this was going to be the most talented team that West Virginia played all season, on the contrary, Ohio State has not faced a wide receiver of the caliber of Tavon Austin. And it became very apparent in the first half that they have nobody that can guard him as he's breaking loose once again, this time down the right sideline. A nice juke to get it inside the red zone. And they still haven't learned from their mistakes playing cover 1 press. Austin's going to burn that once again, but it's going to be slightly underthrown, so the ball's inside the 5. But in the end, the Buckeyes could not keep pace with the Mountaineers offense, and they would fall 45-21 in the quarterfinals. So West Virginia would move on to the Orange Bowl to face off against the Florida Gators, another really dominant team that had no idea how to cover Tavon Austin, as again, he's running free in the middle of the field. How do you not put more coverage on him after all that he's done this season? It makes no sense. They did force Garrett Green into a pretty costly mistake as we end the first half that could be game altering. But the Mountaineers started using some very interesting ways to give Austin the ball. Here's a nice little motion, then a diving catch for a first down. But now by 3 with 3 minutes to go, Austin's going to catch the slant route through some traffic and pick up a huge gain. And after another touchdown, Florida would be unable to claw their way back. But the stage was set. The Mountaineers, with their Heisman Trophy winner Tavon Austin, was in the national championship game against the undefeated Oregon Ducks. And it became very apparent early on that this was going to be the toughest game of the season for the Mountaineers. After taking a big hit on the opening drive, Tavon would split the cornerback and safety here and have a nice touchdown catch in the biggest game of his life, but he still couldn't consistently get open against this Oregon Ducks defense. And with Garrett Green missing wide open pass after wide open pass, it was nearly impossible for the West Virginia offense to keep up with the Ducks. Austin was trying his hardest to beat the press coverage and double teams that Oregon was constantly throwing at him, but at the end of the day, it was too little too late, as this one big explosive play down the field came when the game was already a blowout. And his performance would not be enough. The Oregon Ducks would cap off their perfect season, and this would mark a disappointing end to the truly magical season of Tavon Austin.